Well, hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another video from Overbite Gaming. I am the majestic Snare. This is my disembodied voice, which is starting to sound a little bit more human, thanks for asking. Let's get the usual things out of the way first before we get into today's video, and that is a big thank you to all the comments and likes and stuff on the 500 hour review. I was really out of it on so many drugs. I don't quite know how I made that video, and I think looking back at it, I'd probably do it differently if I did it again, so maybe I'll revisit it at 600 hours and do a proper job of it. I don't know yet, but at the moment, I look back and I listen to myself thinking, oh my god, you sound terrible. Anyway, moving on to today's video. Today's video, I want to talk about Oberon. What's wrong, Oberon? Basically, I think Oberon is one of those underrated frames. He was actually like the third frame I got my hands on. I started with X-Gal, then I moved on to Rhino because he's very easy to get, and when you start out having a second frame, it's a big thing. It's like, ooh, something else to play with. But I got Oberon third, I think, because I like the idea. I got my first part of him and was like, ooh, another one. And he's got that foresty kind of deer-like look to him. I don't quite know how it links back. I haven't researched into why he's called Oberon, etc. But he's definitely got a feel to him. And with the antlers that I've got on him right now, with my brown and my greens, he looks awesome. He's one of my early fashion frame attempts. I've stuck on a few bits and pieces. I just think he looks great. So that's Oberon. But I have to say I don't see a lot of him in games that I'm playing these days. I don't know whether people kind of latch on to much more versatile frames or more aggressive frames, because to me Oberon is a very well balanced frame. He's got a serious amount of support on him that can buff health and energy, not energy, shield, sorry. And he's also got the ability to deal some decent amount of damage with his fourth. If you don't know his abilities, his first ability is like a bit like Atlas's Soul Punch, but it's called Smite, I think. So it hits an enemy and then projectiles come out of that enemy and hit other enemies, and it scales up, and it can be very interesting on high level stuff. So that's kind of cool. His second ability is Hallowed Ground, which is basically a buff of his other abilities, and kind of bits. It makes him have an arena of playgroundy kind of do what you want with those enemies. Anything that walks onto that Hallowed Ground gets damaged, and then within that area you can use his third ability to kind of buff up health and shields. So his fourth ability can literally pick people off the floor and smack them down, and if they are on hallowed ground, I think it does extra damage and stuff. So basically his abilities are all about kind of dealing some significant damage, but also supporting the rest of your teammates. So I don't know why he's not used more often. I see him now and again. It's not like nobody plays him. It's not like Atlas, which I've got my hands on finally, and I'll probably do a video on him, but nobody seems to play Atlas because he's kind of quite a mediocre frame. Oberon, on the other hand, I think has got some real legs to him, and I think he looks great, and I'm trying to get my hands on Oberon Prime. Some friends of mine have got Oberon Prime. I'm really jealous. You know who you are, so don't rub that in. But I will say one thing, that when I'm playing Oberon, it's such a pleasant experience, because you can change with the tide. You can go more supportive, you can go a bit more aggressive, and if you've got a couple of decent handguns, or main primaries and secondaries, sorry, then you can deal some extra damage and not have to worry about picking up energy and just being an energy vampire, as I think it's called. But I personally think we should have more people playing Oberon. I think in any kind of long scale game, like a survival, or even the Sanctuary Onslaught kind of missions, which I will just point out again, I'm still bitter that I haven't got my hands on Cora, but in those particular missions, when you've got missions that are happening around you and you need to have that support, you need to change tact, it's to buff other people is just as important as to deal the damage yourself. I think Oberon is just brilliant for that. My problem, the whole reason for calling this video What's Wrong Oberon, one, because it sounds cool, right, and I think you'll agree with me there, please comment down below, but on the other hand, also, it's just the fact that when I got Oberon as my third frame, I was in that mode of mastery ranking, and sort of like, okay, there was no point playing him when he reaches 30, because then I've got other things to rank up and get my mastery rank. I was a bit like that at the start. I've kind of chilled out now, because the new stuff is less forthcoming, and I'm getting to the point now, right, I can use a frame because I like how they play, and just pick up weapons I need to rank, or just because I need some resources. It's that beautiful space, which I didn't really go into too much detail in the 500 hour review, but it's kind of where I am. I'm playing it because I enjoy the bits I enjoy in the game, rather than, oh, I've got to do lots of that to get lots of this stuff. I'm very much in a place where I'm playing with friends and I'm doing kind of things that are fun to do. So for me, Oberon is one of those frames that we just need to see more people using him. I will do a video on Limbo at some point, okay? Because that whole frame thing, I need to get my head around it. A few people have commented on Tuesday's video talking about, oh, you don't understand how Limbo actually works. He's really good as a solo. That might be the case, but I think I've just got this distaste for him because he's been trolled, or people using him as they don't really understand how to use him. I've had many missions that have been dragged out because of Limbo or failed because of Limbo, but likewise I've had some missions that have actually been helped by Limbo. I'm not totally against him. I'm just, with great power comes great responsibility. He should be dressed like Spider-Man for that quote to work, but he's a frame that's, not the fucking subject of this video, so fuck off and let's talk about Oberon. One of the points I want to make in this video about Oberon is probably the reason why some people might have clicked on the video in the first place, and that's to kind of work out whether Oberon's worth getting. Some people might be a bit more discerning in their taste and only go for frames they want to play rather than just collect them all like I have to, which is never going to happen, but I'm going to try. Fuck it. No, seriously, Oberon, is it a frame that you'd enjoy? I think if you're that balanced kind of player that likes supporting your teammates, it's definitely one to consider. It looks great. You can get a few different helmets and stuff that pop up on alerts. There's plenty of stuff you could spend platinum on to get different skins, whatever. But I think he looks really, really great. I think he just acts. I think his abilities are brilliantly combined together. They're very well. I think they've been reworked over the last, or about a year ago. I've seen some people talking about reworks and the ways that your buffs actually were targeted before. Now they're out in a wave, stuff like that. That it seems a bit better. So we can only say that Oberon he's not like the pack leader. He's not a Sarin or for damage. He's not a Banshee for that all-encompassing range, which, funnily enough, in Sanctuary gets banned if you use it too quickly. Did you notice? I don't know if that's a rework because everyone was just walking with Banshee, but I walk in there, use my ability, it goes, you need to use something else. That's also another video. Just off at a tangent. Sorry. Can you tell I'm getting better because I'm being more and more random? Yeah, I noticed too. Back to it. Yes, Oberon is just not a pack leader, but I think he's got legs on him. I've seen them. They do work. And no, seriously, I think he's got some real weight to his powers and abilities, and he is a fun frame to play. I think he's one of the frames, when I started, I didn't quite get him. I thought his first couple of abilities were a bit crap, but once you unlock all four, as with most frames when you walk through the process of experiencing those abilities for the first time and trying to work out how they fit together, the first couple of abilities might be a bit naff, but the beauty of Warframe and the beauty of how it's combined together, when you have all four abilities that work in unison, they work together, and there's not a pattern as such, but there's a way that you use abilities together to make the frame work for you and your comrades. It's just brilliant. Personally, for example, when I started playing Equinox, which is a frame that takes a long time to grind to get all the parts, believe me, it's probably worth it. But she does a ridiculous, and to quote a friend of mine, gross amount of damage. But I've never really found that frame fun. It's just got too many bits to it, maybe a bit too complicated. You have to remember what you're doing rather than kind of reacting. I don't know. But that frame works as a supporting frame, but also as a massively, massively offensive frame. It's kind of like Oberon is a little bit toned down to that and a bit more focused and a bit more, I suppose, simpler in a way. But I don't want to spend too long talking about Oberon in just that way, saying, oh, he's a bit balanced. Oh, he's a bit balanced. As with any frame, you're going to enjoy the game whatever frame you've got, because you've got so many other facets to be worried about, whether it be the weapons you're using or the levels you're playing and the missions you're doing, or what you're actually in the game for. All I'll say is that Oberon is one of those frames that I haven't played enough. I want to go back to and play some more. You'll see in the footage today that there's lots of just me fucking about with his abilities, but he's one of those things, he can literally walk into a room and slam everyone and then that's it, job done. Now fuck off type thing. And I like that. I like the ability to switch on the pain and then switch it off again and not have to worry about energy too much, because once you've got a decent amount, it's okay. I haven't built him in any particular way. One of these days I will get used to building Warframes a bit better and modding the builds, but I need some decent kind of mods to do that. I think with basic mods you can only really do basic builds, and maybe I'll do some mod tutorials in the future for very new players, because I'm in no way an expert. I just love the damn game. I am getting better in my chest. I don't feel as rough as I did on Tuesday, so please give us some well wishes down below. Thank you for you guys who have already. Really did appreciate that. Actually, I was feeling a bit meh when I released that video, but thank you very much. And there will be plenty more videos to come and see on the channel. We do have them coming out every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday. So if you want to see some awesome content, check us out back then. And don't forget to like and subscribe the video, because if you have liked what you've seen here today, minus my face, they always seem to do better when I don't have my face on camera, which is hurtful. But understandable. But guys, that has been my kind of review of Oberon, if you will. I'm not going to repeat myself again. You know my thoughts. And I want to know what you think. If you got a suggestion for a potential like frame review video, let us know down in the comments and I'll try and get to it at some point. But I do want to kind of go over some bits and pieces, and let me know if there's any weapons you want to go into. I have a fair selection, and I've got one or two I'm definitely going to talk about, but I don't think they're really long videos. I might do this a bit more of a compilation and the reasons why I like them or something like that. But guys, thank you for listening to my ever deteriorating voice. It really is starting to hurt now, so I can't do my usual sign off. But guys, thank you for watching, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you again soon. Okay, love you. Bye bye.